We're talking about making monsters more interesting. This week's sponsor is none other than Dragon Shield. Now, Dragon Shield have been on the show before. They make these amazing GM box accessories which just contain everything that the GM needs in order to play. There's a phenomenal mini tray that comes with multiple levels of mini sponges as well as card holding space. Just look at that. Absolutely great. This is all my minis that I'll be using for my D&D in a Castle game, by the way. There's space to add in your own DM screen stuff. There's straps that you can hook trays and things onto to keep your DM space nice and clean so that you can react appropriately to those pesky little players and their little problems that they bring to you. Dragon Shield, tough as scales, really is an awesome finish to an awesome product. What a great thing. And of course, they do the player box as well. Dragon Shield, thanks for sponsoring. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of How to Be a Great GM. My name is Guy and today we're talking about making monsters more interesting. Now, monsters is a catch-all phrase for NPCs, monsters, beasts, creatures, undead, etc., etc., etc. How are we going to make these more interesting in our game? Well, we know of the 4 different monster types. The heavy hitter, which is the one who uses just brute force and just is about dealing large amounts of damage and large amounts of violence. I would assume that something like a rhinoceros is a heavy hitter or an orc is a heavy hitter. And I'm stereotyping here big time. And we might want to change up that stereotype, by the way. That's one of the secrets, is that we challenge the stereotypes that the players have of the monsters to put the monster in a different way. We can only do that if we know what the monster is supposed to be or is expected to be, such as a heavy hitter. We have heavy hitters. We have racers. These are monsters that are trying to get ahead of the party. They're trying to get to wherever the party is going. They're very specific in terms of our adventures. If the party are not rushing to get anywhere, a racer is not going to make any sense. But if the party is rushing to get to a bridge, a creature that gets ahead of them because it can then lay a trap is a racer type of creature. That trap might be a physical trap or it might be an ambush. Another type of monster is the chaser. These are the ones that are literally simply chasing the party. They might catch the party eventually, but their primary goal is to keep herding the party, keep moving the party forward. Chasers are really useful, especially if we think of fast-moving things, displacer beasts, wildlife, things along those lines, bounty hunters, trackers. How do we change them up? How do we change the stereotype? Well, we can apply our creativity to that and say, okay, well, maybe this is a displacer beast that is simply, it's chasing the party to a trap that has already been set up by a heavy hitter. So it's working with something else. And there's a bit of a hint as to how we make these encounters more interesting as well. And then the final type that we talk about is the shadows. Those are the ones that attack from the shadows, disappear, and are not seen. The player characters can't engage with them directly because they are attacking, sniping from a distance, attacking when the party isn't looking, that kind of thing. So to make our encounters more interesting, we then take these 4 different types of characters, of monsters, I should say, and we then try to subvert them. So the heavy hitter is the rhinoceros that's actually attacking from the shadows. I don't know how we would do that, but we would have to create something interesting in order for it to do that. Maybe it's rhinoceros people who don't like physical contact, but who like to use blowguns and darts from a distance. Well, there's an interesting take. We look at how do we entrench. So sometimes the monsters are just chasing the party. So it could be a flock of velociraptors that would be attacking the party and just moving with the party. It could be something more complex. We then, finally, we've subverted, we have entrenched, we can then alter. So it is a heavy hitter, it is a giant rhinoceros, but it is a giant vampiric rhinoceros, which is not only going to be a heavy hitter, but it is also going to chase the party and chase the party really well. And then when it catches the party, it will hit the full month of Tuesdays out of them. Those kinds of things. So by combining and changing and altering the different types, we start to get some very interesting monsters on their own. Combine those together, and if you ensure that in a particular encounter you have a heavy hitter, some chasers, some shadows, your party is going to be very hard pressed. The heavy hitter is going to keep them locked down whilst the chasers are running around the edges
monsters engaging, breaking away, coming back, engaging, breaking away, coming back, and the shadows are just going to be attacking the party, it's going to make it very, very complex and very difficult for them. This is something that we want, by the way. This is going to be helping us to create more interesting encounters, which we will be talking about in an upcoming episode. So when we then go back to looking at our monsters, not only do we need to know their type, we need to give them their COGASS. They need to have those values so that we can understand what it is that their goal is. Usually, for most monsters, there will be a leader. That leader needs to have their COGASS fully fleshed out. Their goal, why are they after the party? What is that kind of thing? That's important for you to know, because when the goal is no longer equal to the stake that that leader has or that monster has, the monster should run away. If it is a predator and their goal is to get food, and the food is causing them to lose lots of hit points, to lose lots of valuable life, this is not worth their goal anymore. They will run away. NPC monsters need to run away when they can no longer achieve their goal, because their goal should shift from, oh, I can't take you prisoner, to, oh my goodness, I need to survive. That's what their goal should shift to. And that survival could be running away, it could be surrendering, it could be giving up information in exchange for their lives. Isn't that a much more interesting conclusion than just fighting the thing until it's dead? Well, I certainly think so. Those are my thoughts on how to make monsters more interesting. And I hope that I haven't left something out. What do you do to make your monsters more interesting? Do you dress them up in fancy clothing? Do you reskin them? Those are superficial things, but certainly valid things as well. Until next time, massive thank you to you and you and you, actually, and you and you and all of you. Happy gaming.